Don't worry, I'm back.
You're listening to In the Chair, a podcast for Freemasons in England, the UK and around the world. Find out more at masonicpodcast.com. But first, welcome your host, Robert Bone.
Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and indeed welcome again to In the Chair, the Masonic podcast for Freemasons and of course anyone interested in Freemasonry. And I'm Robert Bone and I'm back again. Took a bit of a break. We had a few weeks off, so apologies about that. Trying to put out a weekly podcast is a lot more harder work than I thought, and to be honest, it had been taking its toll on a few things. Basically, you might hear what sounds like a 45-minute, 50-minute interview, but I actually worked out there's about a day's worth of production that goes into trying to set those interviews up, recording the interviews. Then, of course, I've got to go back and edit them if needs be, and listen to them, write the show notes up, type those all up, pop them all on the website, then do all the little graphics, and then all the social media and everything that goes with it as well. And I realised that actually takes out about a day out of my working week, so to speak. And as I am self-employed, putting a day out of my schedule for something where obviously it goes out for free, it's just something where it starts taking a toll. And not only have I had those expenses involved of basically setting up, buying the equipment, buying the hosting, all those sort of bits and pieces that need to go along with it, and those ongoing costs, when it actually starts costing me money financially from lost earnings, obviously something's got to give. And not only that, I'm in the chair myself, so I've got all the learning, all the visiting that I'm doing, lodge of instructions and rehearsals, not to mention the actual meetings. That all starts building up, and realising it does have a knock-on effect. So I decided just to take a couple of weeks off, just to try to recoup some things and actually try to go through, I've got an email inbox that's still overflowing with emails from all different bits and pieces that I've got to go through. So I thought, let's just take a little bit of time off and see where it's going, and see what happens. And I know during that sort of period, I've had a few people contact me saying, don't stop it. I also sent out a newsletter the other day, and if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, it's something I've only sent out 2 so far, just as a little digest of what's been happening and what's going on, what might be coming up in the future. If you hop onto the website, it's masonicpodcast.com. It should automatically come up after a couple of seconds of you being on there, one of these fill-in forms, to pop your name and email address in, or there's the form on there. And the reason I'm sort of doing that is I'm thinking, well, although I'm sort of putting things out on Twitter, if you don't happen to be following at that time, it's very easy for me to put a tweet out, and within a couple of minutes, loads of other people that you're following have put tweets out, and that can go down to the bottom. Because I've just in case, I don't want to stop the podcast completely, but it might be getting a bit more sporadic, and therefore, I don't want people to be missing out on things. So obviously a great way to keep in contact with you guys is by just emailing out an occasional sort of, it's not sort of spammy, I've not got anything to sell or anything like that. Just an occasional email I can quickly pop on, type it up, and then email that out so you know what you might have missed, and also what's coming up. Regarding what's coming up, and this is one of the things I've been having problems with, I actually thought when I started this, there'll be people, I know, obviously Freemasonry, there's the sort of secrecy side of things, but I thought there would be people a little bit more eager to let things be known, and especially as, I know it's in the public domain, but it's only really Freemasons and people who are interested in Freemasonry who are, listening to the podcast. And I thought it would be a great platform, and it seems to be, quite a lot of my time is spent trying to track down people that would be researching, people that would be good for interviewing, trying to get in contact with them, and I'm just having not very much response at it, and it's a bit annoying when considering that, there's, I don't know the numbers from iTunes, those sort of things. They don't give me figures. All I can look at is my download sort of stats, but I know there's, at least 1,000 of you that listen to pretty much, every episode regularly, so it's quite a big listenership. membership. Majority of those are all going to be UK based, obviously this being a UK based podcast, but about a third of those are going to be in America, and of course with the worldwide the worldwide internet, world wide web out there, the books, when you get authors on, you can still pop onto Amazon and buy often these things, buy these books, find out more about it. So it really is quite global. And the reason I mention all of this is if you have got something you would like to something that you think would be interesting, something you would like to hear about, someone maybe you could put me in contact with, that would be fantastic, because quite a lot of my time is spent trying to chase up non-existent sort of leads and trying to create things just to try to give you guys, the listeners, free content. So I'm kind of going round in circles with that. And of course, if I don't have people that want to come on the show, then you're just going to have more shows like this of me just talking at a microphone for 5-10 minutes just to try to put something out so you don't feel so I've forgotten about it completely. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, please do get in contact. I'm looking to basically make it interesting. I'm trying to put together a show that I would like to hear, but of course I'm having to second guess thing. And sometimes, I don't know who is listening to this. And if you're listening and you go, well, there's a guy in my lodge that knows all about something or other, then get in contact, check whether you'd be up for it, get in contact, let me know. I can then arrange a time to call them on Skype, we can record it, we can do it all, and then put it out there for the greater community. And of course, one of the great things with the podcast is I know loads of people listen to them within a day or two of them coming out, but these are still on the internet. You can go back and listen to the old ones, and I'm hoping to build up an archive so that over the months and hopefully over the years, people will still be able to go back and listen to them. For example, listen to Chris when he was an initiate who I actually initiated into Freemasonry, and listen to his experiences. I mean, that's going to be content that's still going to be applicable as much as it was then as it is today, as hopefully what it will be in years to come. So please have a bit of a think and let people know as well. Let people know about this. It does seem a little bit also pointless sometimes doing a podcast when it's just going to be the same people listening to it over and over again. Need to try to get more people involved in it. So I'm just sort of trying to let you know this. I wasn't going to put this podcast out. The next interviews I've got scheduled aren't actually going to be for another week or two. And I thought, well, actually that might end up being a whole month without a podcast. So I just wanted to sort of put that out there and let people know, because if things can come up sooner and I can work out the space where we can get things going, then obviously want to get things going. So do check out the website. It's masonicpodcast.com. Make sure you register for the newsletter to get any up-to-date details. Follow on Twitter. It's Masonic Podcast on Twitter. Again, apologies for not putting anything out over the next few weeks. Sorry if nothing comes out in the next week or two as well. I am working on stuff. Bear with me, and I appreciate any ideas or input. It's robert@masonicpodcast.com. Well, until next time, have a great week, and hopefully I will speak to you soon. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to In the Chair. Visit masonicpodcast.com to see the show notes and in-the-chair.co.uk for more resources to help you get the most out of your Masonic journey. If you enjoyed the show, please let us know by rating and reviewing it on iTunes. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss our next podcast. If you're not already, follow us on Twitter @Masonic Podcast.